how much Fanstoys figures cost on the secondary market once all of the major distributors sell out. And I'm here today to tell you my 5 reasons, in my opinion, that the prices just go through the roof on Fanstoys figures, more than most other companies. And I'm going to get right into that as soon as you hit the like button. If you're new to the Titanium Hangar, this is Mike. I'm here to talk to you about vintage to modern Star Wars, Transformers, video games, and anything else that crosses my mind. And subscribe to the channel. Please turn on notifications so you can be the first to get these wonderful videos. So, getting right into it, my number 5 reason that Fanstoys figures go for so much on the secondary market is because of aesthetic. They look good. Fanstoys figures definitely look the part. They are super G1, they nail the sculpt, they have a great looking face sculpt, most of them, some of the older ones need some work, but they look good. Now, Fanstoys, just like X-Transbots, is extremely slavish to the G1 look. And what we've seen in the past is just like with Hasbro, their Transformer line is far more successful when they go closer to G1, as opposed to with the movie bot stuff that they had to every Walmart clearanced out for like 70% off to get rid of them. The G1 stuff in this new Siege line sells like crazy. The closer it gets to G1, the better. And that's just the way it is. Now, I'm accused of being a G1 lover, but no one's a G1 lover more than the people at Fanstoys, because they stick to G1. There's not one figure they put out that isn't super G1. And that is a big part of the aesthetic. They know what they're doing, and they make it look good. Also with that, they have a great application of paint. Now, some of the early figures not so much, but lately it's just been an outstanding paint application. It's not like they're trying too hard, it's like it's just right. And that's just the way it is. But leading into number 4. Number 4 is that when you have great looking figures such as Fanstoys, you want to have other great looking figures next to it. They look good together. Fanstoys make sure that their figures scale well with each other and scale well with Takara, and that is something they have done well since day one. Now, I personally feel a few of them are a little too small. Some people say that they're a little too big, which is definitely not right. That's not true. Except for maybe Phoenix is huge, and I love the size of that thing. But Fanstoys figures look good together on a shelf, and it's undeniable. For most figures, if you put another figure on a shelf next to them, you may get by with it. But not everyone. You don't want to stick an eye gear in the middle of a Fanstoys collection. It's just not going to work. So that is another major reason that I'm seeing people want to fill out their shelf with the best that they can find, and when the best that they can find is usually Fanstoys. Number 3, build quality. If you're going to haul off and buy yourself a $400 figure, and it's going to feel like a piece of junk in your hand. And I'm going to use, because it's all fresh in my mind, Kronos. Kronos was a $400 figure. People paid $400 for that at one point in time. And everyone knew that it was riddled with QC issues. The plastic was flimsy and breaks easily, and the design was okay, but could have been better. You'd feel a whole lot better spending $400 on a Phoenix. Now, I overspent on my Phoenix, and that's because it just happened. And I know that if I was patient and waited, I probably could have got it cheaper, which several viewers did. But with that, I still look at that, and I overpaid by $60, and I'm still okay with it because it looks good and the build quality is there. I don't have any troubles when I go to pose it. I don't feel like I'm going to break it like I did with my Kronos. So I really feel like I got my money's worth out of it. And I think that's what people feel with almost every Fanstoys offering. That when they pick that thing up, they manipulate it, they feel like they've gotten it. Now, Fanstoys isn't perfect. There are a couple other figures that have some QC issues. I understand that, but every company and every figure is going to have a certain percentage, 1 or 2%, that have a QC issue. Number 2. My number 2 reason is that Fanstoys doesn't re-release a whole lot of their figures. Now, they have done some in the past, and if you look and you see that most of these companies have 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 good figures, and they just keep re-releasing the good figures over and over and over, instead of putting out new molds, new figures, and new characters. But Fanstoys is entering into a new era, and so with this, they're sort of stopping the re-releases. Now, I did make a video about that already, and I still don't think Kronos was a re-release. I think Kronos was held back stock. They just shipped out. I really don't believe they did a full 2,000 production run. I think they held 3, maybe 500 back from a production run of 6,000, and that's where those came from. And it's the only way it explains that they came out so fast after the MP10X, or yeah, the FT10X version. They also, if you notice, Make Toys has been knocked off before with Yes Model, and there's a couple of others that have been knocked off. DX9's been knocked off. Fanstoys and X-Transbots have not been knocked off yet, and there's a reason for that. Well, first of all, they hold their intellectual properties very close to themselves, so other people can't steal them. They steal the digital files, is how they do the knockoffs these days. And so, because they have that tight control over their production, their files aren't getting stolen, and they're not having that problem. As for other ones, you get their figures KO'd and knocked off in the third-party realm, maybe upsized, maybe downsized, or whatever. They're still getting KO'd, and that is an issue that does not plague Fanstoys, and almost plagued X-Transbots, but Keith handled that situation. Number 1. And number 1 really is tied to number 2, and I know everybody was probably thinking the fact that they don't re-release is the biggest reason, but actually the biggest reason is they're more forward-thinking and focused on the future. Fanstoys is about to put out a record number of figures that we've not seen from a third-party company either ever or in a long time. They have 20 figures on the books, around about 18, 22, something like that, that's been announced that they're working on, that we truly expect to see. 10 of those are combiner figures, which we just got one, but if you think about it, some of the combiner figures share a lot of engineering and parts, so it's not like they're having to start from scratch for every single one of those combiner figures, which is why we're going to see those figures so much faster than some of these other ones that we've seen. But they're also going to pepper in individual releases, and some of those individual releases are mini-bots. Mini-bots are quicker and easier to develop and make. That's just all there is to it. There's smaller and there's less part count to them than one of their bigger ones where they're going to be more complex. Also a simpler transformation, hopefully. Hopefully. I don't know if you've seen some of those mini-bots, it's like, where does everything go and how does it transform? But yes, they are going to be putting out a lot of new figures, which means they don't have time for those re-releases. And so with that, there's going to be more opportunities for everything on this list to just shine. We've got to put out another figure that looks great and blows everything out of the water. They're going to put out this new Blur that looks good, and you know, he's Diaper Man, Mr. Diaper Man Blur, but he looks good and will fit in with other Fanstoys figures probably better than the great Unique Toys. The Unique Toys version looks good, but he's taller than the rest of the Fanstoys figures, and he doesn't have the same paint job, or the sheen on him is not to the same level that we know that the Fanstoys one's going to be, even though I still really like the Unique Toys Blur. But also, with that, there's going to be new figures that blow everyone out of the water, and they're going to want to put them next to older Fanstoys options, and in some cases, those Fanstoys options are the only option that's worth putting on your shelf. Anyway, go ahead and like and subscribe. I want you to give me your feedback on why you think Fanstoys prices are so much higher than some of the other companies' prices, and what figure would you like to see them re-release if they do a re-release? Titanium hanger. Out.